Stone Age Venice. The mystery of the mysterious fall of civilization solved. About 5,300 years ago, an already developed civilization existed in the eastern part of China. Its members built a great city, the like of which had never been seen before in all of Asia, and perhaps even in the whole world. The surviving traces of the Liangzhu culture, which developed along the banks of the Yangtze River Delta, are a testimony to what the Neolithic society could accomplish in the last years of the Stone Age. Archaeologists examining the ruins of the city of Liangzhu point to numerous signs of social, cultural and technological progress during this period, especially in agriculture and aquaculture. Sophisticated architectural features, including clever use of water engineering and the construction of irrigation canals, dams and reservoirs, have led researchers to call the city the Venice of the Stone Age. However, none of these architectural marvels lasted long. After 1 millennium, the Liangzhu culture mysteriously collapsed, and the ancient city was suddenly abandoned. This was about 4,300 years ago. The reasons for the collapse of civilization have never been fully understood, although many have suggested that a catastrophic flood may have contributed to it. The results of the new discoveries are presented in Science Advances. A thin layer of clay has been found on the preserved ruins, suggesting a possible link between the collapse of civilization and the flooding of the Yangtze River, explained geologist Christoph Spartel of the University of Innsbruck in Austria. However, based on the layer of mud alone, it was impossible to draw firm conclusions about the cause, emphasizes the researcher. Thanks to new research, experts have learned more about the climatic conditions in the area thousands of years ago. Spartel and an international team studied mineral formations such as stalagmites from 2 underwater caves in the region. They retain the chemical signatures of climatic conditions centuries ago. Wei Zhang of China's Xi'an Jiaotong University conducted the analysis of the stalagmite samples. The collected data indicate that the fall of the city of Liangzhu coincided with a period of unusually high rainfall, which probably lasted for decades. They may have been caused by increased El Niño activity. Data collected earlier by archaeologists and new findings point to the same period when civilization collapsed. Massive monsoon rains probably led to such severe flooding on the Yangtze and its branches that even the sophisticated dams and canals could no longer withstand the pressure of the water masses, which eventually destroyed the city of Liangzhu and forced people to flee, says Spartel. According to the researchers, Earlier climate changes in the Yangtze Delta may have influenced other Neolithic cultures that inhabited the area. Liangzhu society was established during a period of arid and relatively stable environmental conditions. Archaeological research shows the presence of large hydraulic complexes, such as earth dams near the city of Liangzhu, which were built about 5,300 to 4,700 years ago, the researchers write in their study. This suggests that Liangzhu society managed water resources effectively, using hydraulic infrastructure for flood mitigation and/or irrigation to survive in the arid climate, the experts said. It seems that droughts may have intensified over time. In the end, the construction of dams was stopped, because the existing infrastructure was sufficient to survive in those conditions. But then came torrential rains, falling in abundance in two distinct periods between about 4,400 and 4,300 years ago. The data obtained during the study indicate that massive rainfall throughout the lower middle reaches of the Yangtze River Valley may have caused river flooding and/or coastal sea flooding and thus hampered human presence and rice cultivation, the authors explain. Massive flooding and flooding caused by poor drainage of low-lying areas may have forced the inhabitants of Liangzhu to abandon the capital, which ultimately led to the collapse of the entire Liangzhu civilization, the authors point out. Humid conditions persisted for hundreds of years after the event, during which time other ancient cultures temporarily settled the area. Then another great drought led to the final collapse of Neolithic civilizations in the region. Around the same time, Chinese society was entering a new period. In 2070 BCE, the Xia dynasty, considered the first dynasty of China, led by Yu the Great. Our observations provide new solid evidence that the rise of the Xia dynasty occurred during a wet to arid climate transition, the researchers argue.